If you've just started learning how to write code, you might have come across the term object-oriented or OOPS. As complicated as it sounds, it's actually a pretty simple and interesting concept. Not to mention, it's one of the most useful tools in modern programming systems. To understand what OOPS is, let's take an example that's completely unrelated to programming at all. Trust me, I know what I'm doing. Most of the time. Let's say you're a chef working in the fanciest restaurant in the world. You'll most likely have a bunch of recipes in your mind or on a cookbook. After all, you can't Google everything all the time. If you have a recipe for, let's say, pizza, everybody likes pizza. You know that you have to add 1 cup of flour, a few spoons of olive oil, cheese, tomatoes, etc, etc. And you know that you have to bake it at 350 degrees for 15 minutes, or until golden brown. So where are we getting with this? You see, when we talk in terms of object-oriented programming, the recipe you use here is actually what you call a class. Every pizza you make using this recipe is called an object, derived from that class. That's why this is called object-oriented, because we're working with objects and classes. So what's so special about these classes and objects? You see, objects are actually what we call instances of a class. Each object is an individual entity within itself, independent of other entities from the same class or from different classes. Now I know that didn't make much sense, so let's take an example. If you make 3 pizzas using the same recipe, each pizza is an individual dish, made from the same recipe. You can add more cheese on one, reduce the sauce on the second, and add chili peppers on the third, and each pizza remains completely unaffected by what happens to the other 2. So, how does that make sense? Why do we use object-oriented programming? Sure, you can make new recipes and stuff, but still, why not use good old imperative programming for our code? Well, object-oriented programming leads to far more cleaner code and easy reusability. It also leads to very useful programming tools and concepts that sound ultra complicated, like inheritance, polymorphism, encapsulation, abstraction. The list goes on and on and... Well, that stuff is something for another day. For now, you should actually try to think up of other ways in which object-oriented concepts apply in daily life. If you've studied object-oriented programming before watching this video, you might have come across the car factory example, which is actually pretty famous for its use in explaining how object-oriented programming works. How it goes is, you basically have a car factory and you have a bunch of cars being made inside it. There's a blueprint which the factory follows to make the cars, and every car that comes out of that blueprint is an object. Every car has a sound system, some wheels, an engine, and these can be modified independently of other cars and independently of the blueprint. If you think about it, most real-life examples of object-oriented programming are about stuff being manufactured or made. Even more examples of classes and objects? You could say students in a class, members of a club, or even more dishes on the menu of that fancy restaurant you own. Anyways, for more videos like these, check out our channel, and I'll see you later.